Hello, and welcome back to Korean Sentence Patterns. In the fifth episode of this series, we will discuss a sentence pattern that is actually made up of quite a few different grammatical points. So, let's get started. First, our example sentence from a native speaker. The sentence is 난 심심해 죽는 줄 알았다. And in the subtitle below, it says, I almost died from boredom. That is one way to translate it, but for the sake of really understanding what this grammatical point, what this sentence pattern is, like all the different components, it's better to translate this sentence as, I thought I'd almost die of boredom. But anyway, first let's discuss where it's from. This sentence is from 1박 2일, 2 days, 1 night, episode 444, which is called Spring Trip Boryong Part 3. And the time is 40 minutes and 43 seconds. So the context actually is that the night before, they slept in an amusement park near a haunted house. But he said this sentence because he actually wasn't fazed by this at all, and he was so not fazed that he almost died from boredom. So this sentence has two different parts to it. You can think of it as two different grammatical structures. The first part is 난 심심해 죽다, which is the die of boredom part. It's the orange part. And the second part is 죽는 줄 알았다. I thought I'd die, and that's the blue part. And these are two different grammatical points. So let's discuss each of them. The first one is a verb plus 아, plus 죽다. And this just means to die of or to die from a verb. And this is most commonly seen as an adjective plus 아, plus 죽겠다. And when it's used like this, it's an exaggeration of your state or your feelings. And that's why it's used only with adjectives. And here I say adjective, but just because it's a shorthand for descriptive verb, a verb that describes a person's state, feelings, emotion, etc. And I kind of didn't mention this, but basically what the 아 thing is that you are just conjugating the verb as though it is in the present informal tense. So for example, with 가다, the conjugation is 가, and 먹다 is 먹어. So anyway, here's an example of the one used with an adjective. 배고파 죽겠다. I'm dying of hunger or I'm starving. So you can see that it's an exaggeration. They're saying I'm so hungry that I might die, essentially. And the next use is when it's used with an action verb. It tends to have more so of a literal meaning. So the example here is 벼락 맞아 죽었어. Somebody died from being struck by lightning. This one isn't an exaggeration or anything. The person literally died from being struck by lightning. And I'm sure this one can also have sort of an exaggerated meaning, but I find that when used with an adjective or a descriptive verb, it tends to be an exaggeration. And when used with an action verb, it tends to have a literal meaning. So in the example sentence, 심심해 죽다 is to die of boredom. And this one is the exaggeration. The next grammar point is a verb plus 는 plus 줄 알다 or 줄 알았다. It's usually 줄 알았다 in the past tense, and it means I thought blah blah blah. And you can use this with any verb, a descriptive verb or an adjective or an action verb. And in fact, the modifier can be any modifier marker. So in the previous 3 videos, we discussed how to turn verbs into adjective-like modifiers of nouns. And this is essentially the same exact grammatical point here. You can use any of these markers for the tense, because there are different markers for the present and the past and the future tense. So here's an example for the present tense. 오늘, 오는, wow, that's kind of hard to say. 오늘, 오는 줄 알았어. I thought you were coming today. And the past tense, 이사한 줄 알았어. I thought you moved away. And the future tense, 더울 줄 알았어. I thought it was going to be hot. So here, in our example sentence, we have 죽는 줄 알았다. I thought I'd die. And this one uses the present tense modifier marker 는, because the state he's describing, which is being bored, started in the past, but it continues into the present because they haven't actually left the amusement park at this point. This is just the morning right after they woke up. So we can see that the template for this particular kind of sentence is an adjective plus 죽는 줄 알았다. And this particular sentence structure is only used when you really want to emphasize and exaggerate your feelings, your emotions, your state of being. And because of the nature of this, emphasizing and exaggerating one's own feelings, it is only used in the first person. So that's I, or possibly we too. I suppose you could do it with we. But it's only used like this because how can you possibly know how somebody else is feeling? And you also don't know whether they think that their feelings are worth exaggerating or not unless they say it themselves and you're quoting them, but that's totally different. So use this in the first person when you're describing your own feelings. Now we can make our variations. The first one, 행복해 죽는 줄 알았어. I thought I'd die from happiness. Basically, I'm so happy that I could die, essentially. And the next one, 추워 죽는 줄 알았다. I thought I'd freeze to death. So this one, I'm so cold that I'm dying. So it's like, I thought I'd die from being cold, essentially. And that's it. We are done with this sentence pattern, so I hope that was helpful for you, and good luck with your studies. You can check out my previous video if you'd like, and that's it. Goodbye!